Unless you're Australian, Australia is a very far away place. And unless you're a cattle farmer, there's not much reason to go into the Outback. But for the first ever Ranger Raptor, Ford wanted to build an off-road playground to show off what their new bakkie could do. And so we left the city and began the trek into the interior. Eventually, we left the tarmac behind and headed deep into one of the largest cattle farms on Earth, a private property the size of Ireland. Soon we would be let loose on a custom-made race course, but first, time for me to walk around the car and point at things, wearing an interesting t-shirt.
Hello and welcome to Australia. Let me take you on a quick tour of the new Ford Ranger Raptor. Now the most noticeable thing is the grille, completely revised, and that is an original part. You don't have to buy that from some aftermarket dealer. That's what it looks like. They've raised the front bumper, and underneath there is actually an aluminium bash plate which stretches further back underneath the car to protect it. Now the whole car is 150 mils wider. The track is actually 150 mils wider than a standard Ranger, and that's what gives it these really shouldery looks. And of course the tires, these are standard. This is the tire you get with the car. It was developed by BF Goodrich for the Ranger Raptor. It's a 280/70 17-inch tire, and it is the business. This is really what helps this car do what it can do out on the road. Looking down the side of it, we've got this magnesium alloy running board. Now that protects the bodywork as well as makes it easier to get in and out of the car because it is 50 mils higher than a standard Ranger. And if we come back to the load bed, we see that it also has the flared wheel arches that we saw at the front of the car. And they've had to make the suspension softer so that it gives it a lot more off-road traction, but that means that you do lose load capacity and towing capacity. So 600 kgs on the back and a 2.5 ton towing capacity is what you get with the Ranger Raptor. Right, that's what it looks like. Time to take it out for a drive.
And with that, we were sent off to hit it hard. I was paired with legendary Aussie racing driver Nathan Pretty.
I have a wonderful gentleman next to me here who's going to make sure that we all get home in one piece. And I'm currently bombing through the Outback at a speed which is not recommended in many vehicles. So normally we come out on car launches and we're told, please gents, ladies and gents, look after the cars, mechanical sympathy, all that sort of thing. But on this launch, no, hit it, go for it. Oh, doing a drift. Oh, that was awesome. This is probably one of the only cars that I've ever had the privilege of driving, which is designed to be punished. Literally, this car is designed to take punishment. Clocking 100 k's an hour now through the Outback. I do not recommend doing this in a normal Ranger wild track. You will have a very difficult insurance claim to file. Oh, that's a big thing. Oh, okay. We were definitely in the sky there. That was some air. AC again.
It's slowing down. What's going on?
Am I not meant to?
No, let's go.
Oh, shit. The real story of Raptor here is not really about power. It's a 2-liter new bi-turbo, sequential turbos, one bigger than the other, about 157 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters. And that is not a huge amount of power when you consider V6 Amaroks, V6 Mercedes-Benzes. But where Ford have really put their expertise in and spent a lot of time developing this car is the chassis and the suspension. So, you know, you could buy a 4x4 and you could lift it, but that'll actually affect off-road stability. What Ford have done here is increase the track by a huge 150 millimeters. Not only can you see it in the body of the car, but you can feel it in the off-road stability. This has got to be one of the most stable bakkies I've ever driven. Ford have really done their best here to design a car and build a car that you can take out and drive as hard as you want. And that is what makes this Raptor special. But that was
I don't know how many times I told you to slow down, but I told you to speed up quite a few times. So enjoyed the ride. Good job. Well done.
Thank you so much. So that was brilliant. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go relax now. I'm gonna go calm down, I think.
And for the last activity of the day, it was time for one flat-out hot lap on an even more hardcore course, but this time with a pro in the driver's
Probably
seat.
just keep my jeans on. All right, here we go. It's a balancing act. Dust, full of dust.
Alrighty. Oh, might have pulled a shoulder muscle. Got some high-speed stuff coming up.
We're in. No problem. How did the tires not come off there? I think your definition of small and mine is quite different.
Right now, the Ranger Raptor is a one-of-a-kind. There's nothing like it. And, conveniently, the pro driver summed it all up rather well.
How did it handle that?
If in doubt, flat out. That's the easiest way to do it.
Fair enough.